Harley Davidson is an iconic American brand, a company Trump brought to the White House last February to prop up as a beneficiary of his policies. Today, Harley Davidson announced it will be shifting production of its motorcycles sold in Europe from the U.S. to factories overseas. The company says the move is to avoid higher costs from the tariff imposed last week by the EU. Costs that would add about $2,200 on average to every motorcycle exported from the U.S. to the European Union. Now, why would the EU do such a thing? Well, that tariff comes as a response to the tariff President Trump ordered on steel imports against America's core allies, including the EU and Canada. And the retaliation doesn't end with motorcycles. All kinds of manufacturers and farmers are feeling the pain of retaliatory tariffs. According to one Wisconsin cheesemaker, if export markets get shut off, I could see us getting to the point where we're dumping our milk in the fields. Talk more about the impact of Trump's tariffs will have on American companies. I'm joined by Dan Dicker, licensed commodity trader, markets expert, who's been writing to me about this. As you watching it, we had you on to talk about the steel tariffs when they first announced. My understanding is that this isn't just people pricing the future. It's happening now. The SEC filing from Harley Davidson today says that the EU tariffs have increased from 6% to 31%.
Yeah, and
like, that's not a fictional future
thing. No, our tariffs are a week and a half away. July 4th are the first time, July 7th are the first time that they will be imposed, the Chinese tariffs on various computer and electronic goods. And from there, the Chinese will start to ramp up their tariffs. There's going to be $4 billion from Mexico, $4 billion from the EU, $17 billion from Canada, and the Chinese are threatening somewhere in the $20 billion area. Now, Trump, surprisingly, thinks he can win this war with the silly idea that since we import so much more from China than they import from us, that he can just ramp up more tariffs, and therefore the end number will be larger. And that, to him, will be winning. But unfortunately, it doesn't quite work that way, and he's going to find this to be like a game of chicken, where the only truck that's moving is the one towards him. That's really how this is going to work. This is so Trumpian in that it's a very complex problem that he's trying to fix in a very simple way. Just like immigration. You know, I have a problem with immigration, I'm going to build a wall. It's a simple solution. Tariffs are a simple and, in fact, a wrong solution for what is a very nuanced and complex problem.
Part of it, too, is that they are able, in retaliating, to target populations that they want to target. So farmers in Iowa, for instance, export a tremendous amount of their agricultural product to China. China could cut that off.
Yes, and in fact, there are specific companies that almost rely completely upon China in order to support them. For example, General Motors. They would be lost. They would go immediately bankrupt if China decided to target General Motors. Apple phones, their best market is in China. Right. If they decided to target Apple, if the Chinese decided to do that as a retaliation, they could literally send Apple stocks spinning downwards to nothing.